Oh man, day 14. The streak is strong, guys. Thanks for joining me again. This is my upper body workout that caps off week 2, upper body day 3. So that's 2 full weeks of training that I've pretty much been daily on. So thank you guys. I appreciate you very much. If you want to follow along with this arm workout, just basically take note of what I'm doing, the exercises, because this is pretty much a full arm workout. And if you want, I maybe suggest adding a rear delta exercise or a back, so like a pull-up or some sort of row between the sets of these tricep pushdowns. You could easily throw in some. The simplest thing you could throw in would be some nice 15 to 20 rep rear delt flies on the pec fly or the the chest fly machine. Do some rear delts. Super simple. You can add those in between the sets of pushdowns. And after that, I hit some tricep pushdowns right here. I love going hella heavy on these. Hella heavy. And this is about as, quote unquote sloppy my form will ever get on this exercise. But I'm constantly pushing the envelope in terms of the weight that I'm using on that. And even this, I'm going to talk about arms. I'm just going to talk about arm growth. Dude, seriously, waiting for your arms to grow is the most depressing feat of patience ever. I'll tell you guys right now, even you beginners out there, getting your arms to grow is like watching paint dry. It is such a slow thing. Throughout my lifting career, my idea of how to grow arms, or if training them was necessary, or how much training them was necessary, it has changed all the time. But one thing that I can say after 9 years is that I actually wish I had trained arms just a little bit more. Just a little bit more volume per week for those 9 years. A little bit more frequency per week over those 9 years. It really wouldn't have killed me. It really wouldn't have affected my squat, deadlift, bench, pull-ups, and all that too much had I done a little bit more arms. That said, it's not like I didn't do them at all. I obviously did them, or I hit my arms way more than the average person who doesn't lift. But if I could go back in time, I would have thrown in more frequency and total volume with the arms. There was a good period in 2012 or 2011 or 2012 where I really kind of minimized my arm training. They didn't necessarily shrink during that period of time, but it was a period where they didn't quite grow at all because I wasn't actually adding in direct arm work. And I think some people have a misconception that their arms are going to grow just from the pushing and the pulling. And I've said it myself in videos. I was like, I do so much pulling, I do so much pushing that my arms don't need to be hit to grow. And I will say that I kind of take those things back. Now, going from nothing to lifting and doing the compounds, yeah, your biceps and triceps are going to grow, definitely. But if you want them to grow as much as they possibly can, you're definitely going to have to put in direct tricep and bicep work. This doesn't mean hitting it from like 20,000 different angles or doing hundreds of different exercises. But what you do is you start with a baseline level of volume and you add to it if and when you feel necessary to get your arms to grow. So X amount of sets per week total, split upon the different days. If you do it different days that you work the muscle you want to grow, and then you add to that level of volume as you see fit, when you see fit, Oh, also, words of wisdom in my 9 years of lifting. I would have been a little more sparing in terms of the frequency that I did skull crushers when I did them. Because every time, and I've talked about this so many different times, every time that I introduced skull crushers into my life, everything was going great for a certain amount of time. It's almost like a poisonous girlfriend or boyfriend. It starts off, everything's great, puppy dog phase. Eventually, domestic violence ensues, break up, get back together. The sex is great, domestic violence ensues, you break up. Hey man, that's seriously the story of the Skull Crusher for practically everyone who does Skull Crushers. No joke. Okay, so if I go back in time, if and when I ever did Skull Crushers, I would have decreased the frequency that I was doing them, and instead I would have alternated Skull Crushers with specifically 2 other exercises. And when I speak of Skull Crushers, I'm speaking specifically of flat bench, elbow, perpendicular to the ground type Skull Crushers, or we should just call them elbow crushers. But I decreased the frequency of doing those by alternating my long head tricep exercises of that with preacher bench tricep extensions, which practically mimics the same thing as a typical Skull Crusher. Now, if you allow your elbows to go a little more around the head area, that's a little bit different. But with the typical Skull Crusher, or even the quote unquote safer version of the lying triceps extension, where, like I just said, your elbows are in a seemingly better position, still elbow tendonitis would always somehow creep around, just like that crazy ex-boyfriend or girlfriend would. So yeah, those are my tips, guys. Take them.